The following is a free-for-download audiobook available on KrishnaPath.org. Kṛṣṇa Consciousness, the Topmost Yoga System, by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Chapter 1. Yoga and the Master of Yoga. Yoga means the connecting link between the soul and the supersoul, or the supreme and the minute living creatures. Lord Sri Krishna is that supreme, the personality of Godhead. Being therefore the ultimate object of yoga, Krishna's name is Yogeshwar, the master of yoga. At the conclusion of the Bhagavad-gītā, it is said, quote, "Where there is Krishna and where there is Arjuna, the greatest of bowmen, there is undoubtedly victory." End quote. The Bhagavad-gītā is a narrative spoken by Sanjaya, the secretary of Maharaj Dhritarashtra. This is just like airwaves from the radio. The play is going on in the auditorium, but you can hear from your room. So, just as we now have such a mechanical arrangement, at that time there were also certain arrangements, although there was no machine. Anyway, the secretary of Dhritarashtra could see what was going on in the battlefield, and he was in the palace telling this to Maharaj Dhritarashtra, who was blind. Now, the conclusion made by Sanjaya was that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the yoga performance is described, it is said that Krishna's name is Yogeshwar. No one can find a better yogin than the master of yoga, and Krishna is the master. There are many different types of yoga. Yoga means the system, and yogin means the person who practices that system. The object of yoga, the ultimate goal, is to understand Krishna. Therefore, Kṛṣṇa consciousness means to practice the topmost type of yoga. This topmost yoga system was described by Krishna in the Gita to his most intimate friend Arjuna. In the beginning, the Lord said that this system can be practiced only by a person who has developed attachment for it. This Kṛṣṇa-conscious yoga system cannot be practiced by an ordinary man who has no attachment for Krishna, for it is a different system and the topmost bhakti-yoga. There are 5 types of direct attachment, and there are 7 types of indirect attachment. Indirect attachment is not bhakti. Direct attachment is called bhakti. If you are attached to Krishna by the direct method, it is called devotional service. And if you're attached to Krishna by an indirect method, it is not devotional service. But that is also attachment. King Kamsa, for example, was the maternal uncle of Krishna, and there was a warning that Kamsa would be killed by one of his sister's sons. So he became very anxious about the sons of his sister, and he decided to kill his sister. Devaki, Krishna's mother, was saved by her husband, Vasudeva, who made a compromise and proposed to his brother-in-law as follows, quote, "You are afraid of the son of your sister, so your sister herself is not going to kill you," end quote. He requested, quote, "Don't kill your sister, save her, and I promise that all the sons born of her will be brought to you, and if you like, you can kill them," end quote. Vasudeva did this in order that his poor wife might be saved, and Vasudeva thought, quote, "When Devaki's son is born, Kamsa may have a change of heart," end quote. But Kamsa was such a great demon that he killed all the sons of Devaki. It was told that the 8th son of the sister would kill him, so when Krishna was in the womb of his mother, Kamsa was always thinking of Krishna. Now you may say that he was not Krishna conscious, but actually he was, not directly, not for love's sake, but as an enemy. He was Krishna conscious as an enemy, so that is not devotional service. One in devotional service is Krishna conscious as Krishna's friend, Krishna's servant, his parent, or his lover. You may want Krishna as your lover, as your son. You may want Krishna as your friend. You may want Krishna as your master. You may want Krishna as the supreme sublime. These 5 different kinds of direct relationship with Krishna are called devotion or bhakti. They entail no material profit. The concept of accepting God as a son is superior to the concept of accepting God as a father. There is a distinction. The relationship between father and son is that the son wants to take something from the father. The father's relationship with the son is that the father wants to give something to the son. Therefore, the relationship with God or Krishna as son is better than the relationship with Krishna by one who thinks, quote, if I accept God as my father, then my business will be to ask for my necessities from the father, end quote. But if I become the father of Krishna, then from the beginning of his childhood, my business will be to serve him. The father is the parent of the child from the beginning of his birth. Therefore, the concept of this relationship of Vasudeva and Devaki is sublime. Krishna's foster mother, Yashoda, is thinking, quote, if I do not feed Krishna sumptuously, he will die, end quote. She forgets that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and he is sustaining the three worlds. She forgets that only one Lord is supplying the necessities of all the living entities. This same personality of Godhead has become the son of Yasoda, and she is thinking, quote, if I do not feed him nicely, he will die, end quote. This is love. She has forgotten that it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has appeared before her as a little child. This relationship of attachment is very sublime. It requires time to understand, but there is a position where instead of asking, quote, "O God, please give us our daily bread," end quote, you can instead think that God will die if you do not supply bread to him. This is the ecstasy of extreme love. There is such a relationship between Krishna and his devotee Radharani, the greatest devotee, the greatest lover of Krishna. Mother Yashoda is his lover as a parent. Sudama is his lover as a friend. Arjuna is also as a friend. There are millions and billions of different kinds of direct devotees of Krishna. So, the yoga systems, as described here, lead to bhakti-yoga, and bhakti-yoga can be practiced by persons who have developed attachment to Krishna. Others cannot practice it. And if anyone is able to develop that attachment, the relationship will be that he will understand God, Krishna, perfectly. However we may try to understand God by our different theories or speculations, it is still a difficult job. We may say that we have understood God, but it is not possible to understand him as he is because we have limited senses and he is unlimited. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam that our senses are imperfect, all of them. We cannot understand even the material world perfectly. You have seen so many planets and stars in the sky at night, but you do not know what they are. You do not even know what the moon planet is, although men have been trying for so many years to go there in Sputniks. Even this one planet, Earth, we do not know what varieties there are even on this planet. If you go to the sea, to the sky, your perception is limited. Our knowledge, therefore, is always imperfect. On that we must agree. If we foolishly think that we have acquired all forms of knowledge and that we have advanced in science, this is another foolishness. It is not possible. And when it is not possible to understand even the material things which we daily see with our eyes, what can we say of the spiritual world and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He is the supreme spiritual form, and it is not possible to understand him by our limited senses. Then why are we bothering so much for Krishna consciousness if it is not possible? If these imperfect senses cannot realize Krishna as he is, the answer is that if you become submissive, if you develop the spiritual attitude of following Krishna, and you are as a servant or a friend or as a parent or as a lover, if you begin to give service to the Supreme Lord, then you can begin to know him. Your service begins with the tongue. How? By the tongue, one can chant Hare Krishna, and by the tongue you can taste Krishna prasadam, spiritual food. So the beginning of the process is very nice. You can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And whenever prasadam is offered to you by Krishna, then by his kindness, you accept it. The result will be that if you become submissive and if you begin this service chanting and eating prasadam, Krishna will reveal himself before you. You can't understand Krishna by speculation. That is not possible because your senses are imperfect. But if you begin this process of service, then it will be possible. One day, Krishna will reveal himself to you. Quote, I am like this, end quote. Just as Krishna is revealing to Arjuna. Arjuna is a devotee and he is submissive, and he's in contact with Krishna as a friend. Therefore, Krishna is revealing to him. The Bhagavad-gītā was spoken to Arjuna, not to any Vedantist philosophical speculator. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, you will note that Krishna says, quote, I am speaking to you that ancient system of yoga, end quote. It is stated, quote, unto you, end quote. Arjuna was a kshatriya, a fighter. He was a householder, not even a sannyasi, not a renouncer, but these are not the qualifications to understand Krishna. Suppose I say that I've become a sannyasi mendicant. This is not a qualification that I can now understand Krishna. Then what is the qualification? This, quote, one who has developed a service spirit with love and devotion can understand me, end quote. No other, not the big scholars and mental speculators, but a child can understand Krishna if he has full faith in him. So faith and devotion qualify one. Simply by such faith and service, you will understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just as we are preaching Krishna consciousness, we are not wasting your time or our time because we are in full faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Theoretically or practically, you should accept Krishna as a Supreme Person. Theoretically, there is the revealed scripture. You will understand it from the Vedic literature, from the great devotees in the past and in the present. For the present, there is Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is the great authority. None is greater. He was mad after Krishna, and then after him, his 6 disciples, the Goswamis, have left us an immensely valuable literature, especially Jiva Goswami. They have written volumes on Krishna. So, under disciplic succession, we have come to this point. And if you like past history, then go back long time to Vyasadeva. He is known to have written the Srimad Bhagavatam and other literature on Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but a description of Krishna. Vyasa is also the writer of the Bhagavad-gītā. The Gita was spoken by Krishna and noted down by Vyasa, who put this Gita into the Mahabharata. So, Vyasadeva accepts Krishna as the Supreme Person. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, he has given the description of the different incarnations. There are 25 of them. And in the conclusion, he says that the descriptions that are given of the different incarnations are all parts of the representations of God. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He is not part, but 100% God. So there is the evidence of authority. And practically, if we believe the Shastras, the scriptures, then we can see who can be more powerful than Krishna, who can be more beautiful than Krishna, who can be more famous than Krishna. Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, but his knowledge, which he gave in the form of the Srimad Bhagavatam, is still worshipped. It is worshipped not only by the Hindus or the Indians, but is read all over the world. In your countries, there are at least 50 different editions of the Bhagavad-gītā written by different men. Similarly, in England, in Germany, in France, and in all other countries, you will find hundreds of editions of the Gita. So, who could be more famous? There are many other evidences, if you believe in Shastra. Krishna married 16,108 wives, and he provided each one of them with a big palace, and each of them had 10 children, and from the 10 children there were many other children born. So, we have the evidence of revealed scriptures, and in the Brahma Samhita also, Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a very old book, supposed to have been written by Brahma, the first living being in the universe. In that Brahma Samhita, it is said, Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara means God. There are many gods. It is said that there are so many demigods, and there is the Supreme God. So Brahma Samhita said, Ishvara Parama Krishna. He is the God of gods. Ishvara Parama Krishna, and then Satchidananda Vigraha. His body is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. And next, Anadi. He has no beginning, but he is the beginning of everyone. Anadi Adir Govinda. Go means senses. Go means cow, and go means land. So he is the proprietor of all land. He is the proprietor of all cows, and he's the creator of all senses. We are after sense pleasure, but our perfection of sense pleasure can be achieved only when we reciprocate our pleasure with Krishna. Therefore, his name is Govinda, the Supreme Original Personality of Godhead. The same Personality of Godhead personally spoke about himself to Arjuna in the Bhagavad-gītā. How can you say that somebody, by his thinking, by speculation, can say something about God that is more important than what is being said by Krishna himself? It is not possible. No one can speak better than Krishna about God because God himself is speaking. If you speak about yourself personally, who can say more than you? So if you have faith, if you believe theoretically or practically that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then by the speeches that are delivered by Krishna in the Bhagavad-gītā, you can understand God. There is no difficulty. And if you believe Krishna, then the result will be that you can understand God, how he is working, how his energies are acting, how he is manifesting, what is this material world, what is the spiritual world, what are the living creatures, what are their relationship, what is their relationship. So many things are found to be found in God's literature. The whole Vedic literature deals with three things. The first is your relationship with God. Then next, after you understand your relationship with God, you can act in that way. Just as a man or woman may not be related, but as soon as the relationship is established, that one is husband and the other is wife, then the dealings begin. Once they understand their relationship with God, people generally believe that God is the Father and the Son's business is to ask Father for whatever he needs. But that is really a lesser relationship. If you understand God perfectly, then there are intimate relationships also. Your intimate relationship will be revealed when you are perfectly liberated. Each and every living creature has a particular relationship with God, but we have for now forgotten. When that relationship is revealed in the process of devotional activities or Krishna consciousness, you will know that is the perfection of your life. Krishna consciousness is a great science. It is not a sentimental speculation regarding love. It is based on scientific propositions described in the Bhagavad-gītā, in the Vedas, and the Brahma Samhita, and is accepted by authorities like Lord Chaitanya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Narada, Asita, Vyas. There are so many authorities. Krishna consciousness is not an ordinary love-making or money-making business. It is reality, and if you stick to it seriously, your life will be perfect.